Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator. In this episode we are revisiting the FlyInside Bell 206, which I believe is one of the most difficult helicopters to fly in the simulator, and we're going to talk about why. If you are interested in acquiring any of my overkills tutorial guides from Microsoft Flight Simulator, or simply interested in supporting the channel, please consider joining us on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides, as well as any future releases that come down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below.
Overkill simulations, watch us as we fly. Overkill simulations, the thrill will never die in the heart.
All right, first up, a little backstory here, guys. I purchased this aircraft when it first released with my own money. This aircraft was not provided to me, so I want to make that very clear. Second thing, I have had the opportunity at the Flight Sim Expo to speak with the developer, who is a real-world helicopter pilot of multiple different variants of helicopters. So there is that advantage of having that information coming directly from the developer himself and knowing that he is a real-world pilot himself. Thirdly, FlyInside sort of operates on the same principle that the early helicopters for Microsoft Flight Simulator came along. It uses a third-party application that runs very lightly in the background that gives you different settings and options and configuration ability. One of those things is the difficulty settings. We're going to have this thing on maximum realism, if you will, and you're going to find that it is much more difficult to fly than any other helicopter you've probably flown. Now, guys, I know that there are tons of very, very good helicopter developers for Microsoft Flight Simulator already. I am not shooting anyone down. Every time I do a video like this, they sort of tend to come off like that, and people start thinking, oh, well, Cohen is this, and this guy's this. Yes, Cohen Sim, I own their Bell 206 as well. I think they're absolutely wonderful. Same thing with the original helicopter developers that came along. Like, I love them all, guys. I want to make that very clear. This is strictly about the 206 from FlyInside being, I think, the most difficult, most challenging. Not unrealistic. And that is the other cool thing, is I have had the opportunity to be inside of a real helicopter twice. Unfortunately, I've never gotten behind the cyclic of one, but boy, would I love to. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to load up in the Pimax Crystal Light. And by the way, links to that are down in the description below if you guys want to save a little bit. And then, as well as we're going to jump in the helicopter and go fly around the northern end of, I think we are in Alaska, I think is where we're at right now. I can't remember. I've bounced the helicopter around multiple times, so I might have blatantly forgotten where we are at this point. But let's get in the helicopter and let's go do some flying. All right, folks, so we are live in the Crystal Light. I'm going to do my best to start this thing from memory. So to Rick, if you're watching this, sorry if I missed a couple steps here. All right, so first we're going to go battery on. We're going to silence the horn there, which can now be bound, by the way, in the latest update. We're going to come up top, make sure our breakers are in for the fuel boost pumps as well as the fuel pump. We're going to turn some lights on. If I can get my mouse where it belongs. There we go. Collision lights on. All right. And I'm going to do my best to keep the head bouncing to a minimum. Let me just get to my keyboard for just a second, because we're going to cheat with the altimeter. Altimeter set. And let's see if I think we're ready to start. Watching N1, looking for 10%. What? The current throttle position should be... Oh, there it goes. Whoops. That was my fault. Okay, go away. I did a hot start. That was my fault. I get it. Let me stop the starter. Alright, we're going to try again. That was my fault. I thought we were at idle. And that's the other thing. It does have engine failures. You can turn them on or off, but as you guys can see there. All right, so now let's watch for N1. 15% is what we're looking for. There it is. Slowly inducing fuel. There it is. You can hear it the second it happens. We're going to watch N1 for 58%. 98. Gonna come up top, turn the generator on. And we're gonna let her sit for about 1 minute. And then increase our RPMs all the way up to 100%. Probably close enough. I'm going to start slowly increasing our throttle. And we'll be watching here until we get to 100%. I am also using the Virpil TCS Collective with the throttle on it, which makes this far, far cooler. It even has the idle release button on it. And so I'm just slowly turning it until we get to 100%. We don't want to go too fast. $85. There's $90. And there's full throttle. Oh, hey, we got a Blackhawk out here. Cool. All right. So now, again, I have this thing set on maximum realism. You're going to find that our cyclic movement is literally going to be like, that's probably too much there, even what you guys are seeing. I'm just resting my hand on. My fingers are just barely touching my physical flight stick. Bringing up the collective. Adding left torque. A little more left torque. Slowly adding collective. I have found that doing a hover lift or a hover test on this is very difficult for me. I probably should have trimmed that out a little bit better. Let's get above the Blackhawk. I want you guys to really be able to see the cyclic. Well, that makes sense. We're at a National Guard base. Ooh, that was a little close. I don't like trimming right now because I'm still trying to learn what the helicopter's wanting to do. So me personally, I stay away from the trim while I'm trying to learn. And it's just because I just, again, want to feel it out, want to understand how it wants to react versus removing that feature. But even without the trim, like I cannot stress it. Right now, you guys, I have my thumb, my index finger, and my middle finger on my flight stick. That is all that is touching, and it's just my fingertips. And that is what I'm controlling my flight stick with. I'm going to see if I can't get us a picture without killing myself here. Oh, wrong button. Sorry, guys. The joys of doing this in VR. There it is. It flies very nicely. But again, like, less is more. Like, I cannot stress that. And I always stress that with helicopters in general, that less is more. Everything you think about fixed wing is usually removed when it comes time to start thinking about flying a helicopter. Small movements, but you're going to be making them much more rapidly. That's what I have found over time. everything that I have found with a helicopter is give and take. So if you have to make some right input for a correction, you're going to make that input and then bring the cyclic back to center. And it's always in and out, in and out, in and out that I found with it. I will tell you with this helicopter, specifically the FlyInside, I do find myself not doing the showboating stuff as much yet. Because, again, it seems to have a much more challenging and what I would still call much more realistic flight model than any of its competitors. And again, I always want to stress, I am not putting any of the competitors down or making them any less valuable. The Cohen Sim 206 is an absolutely fun helicopter to fly. Very, very well done, so I do not want to take away from that. But if you're looking for the most challenging, and what I would say from my very, very limited experience with helicopters in real-world flight, that the FlyInside is definitely the most realistic. And I also want to stress you guys, I was not asked to do this video, and remind you that I bought this helicopter myself when it was released. So wouldn't be me if we didn't do a little bit of showboating, but let's see if I can do it without hurting anybody. Still fingertips only on the cyclic. You can see I'm much more nervous with this one than I am with any of the other helicopters. Much more nervous with this helicopter. They also produced the Bell 47G. Whoa. From MASH, if you guys are interested in checking that out. I'm going to go back to the old days of Korea. That is a fantastic helicopter to fly. I believe that was their first release from Microsoft Flight Simulator. Sounds are great, the performance is great. They also have a new livery pack. If you guys purchase the helicopter, you can get that as a bonus. I might have misplaced our airbase. Unless that's it right there. I think that's it, yeah. So we're going to try to land it. I have actually not successfully landed this helicopter in the last couple days. I keep putting it into VRS, or vortex ring state. Basically what that means is that the helicopter is falling faster without any forward momentum than the lift that the rotors can produce. And you get into this very, very rapid fall. Usually happens, like I said, with limited or no forward momentum. And it is a very dangerous thing to be in. And usually when you're, like, if we're down this low, if I were to go into VRS, it's game over. You become a crater in the ground. So hopefully I'll have a nice successful landing with you guys here to watch it. Biggest thing is to watch your rate of descent. You start seeing it go above about 500 feet per minute, especially at slow speeds. You're flirting with it. I would keep it above 500 feet per minute. Keep it between 0 and 500 feet. And like I said, 500 feet per minute, you're flirting with it. More or less, I want to try to put it back where we got it. I want to put our toys back where we found them. I'm hyper paranoid of the descent rate. Feel it start to shake right before you start getting into it. Much like a stall. You get the buffet. You guys can tell I'm nervous, I'm quiet. This is literally the best approach that I've had in this thing yet. I'm also trying to be mindful of ground effect. As we get closer to the ground, we're going to need less collective to keep it up. And the helicopter's going to want to get wonky on me too. Easy, easy, easy. Gosh, we're right there. Come on. Come on. Come on. Easy, 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 easy. Just sit down. No, no, shh. We're going to miss our landing spot. That's okay. Oh. Whew. Alright, I'm going to start winding the throttle back. Silence the low RPM horn. Sounds on this thing are phenomenal. There's fuel cutoff. Generator off. Okay. All right, guys. So as I said, this, in my opinion, is the most challenging of the helicopters to fly. I think it offers the greatest challenge with the most realistic flight model. I highly recommend you guys give it a shot if you haven't. I really do. It's something that I think you guys will really enjoy. I don't know why I keep playing with the camera, but it's just one thing I'm doing. But anyways, check it out, guys. Link to this helicopter will be down in the description below. As always, folks, stay safe and healthy. Catch you in the next one.